Dear colleagues, dear scientists, dear inhabitants of our brilliant planet Earth, my name is Piotr Skubała. I'm soil ecologist and acarologist. I deal with the ecology of soil mites. Organ is very important for the proper functioning of life on our planet. I lecture also environmental philosophy, environmental ethics, ecological education for many years. Recently, I became a climate activist associated with the Climate Reality Project, the Vice President Al Gore Foundation. I'm a climate reality leader. Probably no one has yet conducted a survey relating to the following question: what is the most important message in human history? Certainly, we would get a whole range of responses. I'm convinced that very few people would think about planetary environmental crisis and especially mass extinction of life in Earth's history. This is probably due to the fact that this subject is not on the front pages of newspapers. It rarely gets into the public consciousness. Politicians do not discuss about this in parliaments. People rarely or never discuss about it during daily meetings. This is not a key message at our universities. Probably few of us thinking about it while going to bed. Scientists describe today's situation on our planet using dramatic terms. The first, you see the title of the article, Biological Annihilation or Eco-Apocalypse, Climate Crisis, Climate Disaster, Climate Destabilization, Earth in the Greenhouse Phase, Planetary Crisis. The average species extinction rate now is 1,000 times higher than in prehistoric times. It's our fault. It's our activity. The most astonishing fact regarding the change we have made on Earth refers to the composition of the current biomass of vertebrates on Earth. Domesticated animals consist now 67% of the vertebrate biomass, humans 30%. It means that in 2015 the anthropomass, the living weight of over 7 billion people, was second only to the mass of domesticated cattle. White vertebrates, white animals, account for only 3% of vertebrates' biomass. It can be said that there is practically no more white vertebrates on our planet. What are the main causes of the mass extinction? The authors of this article selected 10 factors, so-called big killers, that mainly contribute to the extinction of species. Overexploitation, exactly deforestation, hunting, fishing, and then agriculture, are the most prevalent threats, so-called big killers of life. They facing most of the studied over 8,000 threatened or near threatened species from the assessed species groups on the IUCN Red List. Climate change, as you see, is on the 7th position, but the authors underlined that soon climate change will become a dominant threat. 3 years later, in 2019, in the recent Global Assessment Report on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, of the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, the climate change was the third largest driver of change in nature, after changes in land and sea use and direct exploitation of organisms. Some 1,700 of the world's leading scientists, including the majority of Nobel laureates in the science, issued in 1992 the appeal entitled World Scientist Warning to Humanity. One of the statements begins, "Human beings and the natural world are on a collision course." 25 years later, in 2017, over 15,000 scientists from 184 countries issued the second warning. The real message from this World Scientist Warning to Humanity is simple and dramatic. It will be too late for us soon. Our time on this planet is almost over. It's high time to wake up and start working. We have experience of the sixth extinction event, and despite the great efforts of many scientists and educators in the world, this critical message has not yet reached a significant part of a society. The planetary boundary concept was introduced in 2009, aimed to define the environmental limits within which humanity can safely operate. As you see on this diagram, of the original 9 planetary boundaries, 4, including climate change, have already transgressed their boundaries. Some of the planetary boundaries on our planet have been crossed. It is a great shame that despite numerous scientific reports about the condition of the biosphere, the environmental situation is becoming worse and worse. We as scientists have a moral obligation now to issue warnings of catastrophic threats. We as scientists need to call humanity's attention to the dangers of continuing considering economic growth as a model for development. We need a new development paradigm to ensure that economies deliver well-being while respecting both social and planetary boundaries. We need a global transformative change in which the conservation of the environment, not economic growth, is the driving force of our development. It is high time to change our individual behaviors. The discussions should highlight the need to put human behavior at the center of new global environmental ethics. It will be revealed whether we are truly moral beings. Many scientists are convinced that morality we inherited from our ancestor, great apes. Now it will turn out what we will do with this gift from our ancestors, great apes. Bearing in mind the condition of our planet, the direction of the world politics, the lack or certainly insufficient concern for the natural environment, it is highly important to get more scientists into policy-making position. Getting more scientists active politically and climbing to the top of power hierarchies is essential for our future and the success of environmental and climatic policy. Today, we need scientists involved in civic activities. Fortunately, this trend has already started, with actions ranging from global marches for science, support of scientists for youth climate strikes, participation in climate marches. You see these on several pictures now. More than 12,000 scientists have signed a statement started by researchers from Germany, Austria and Switzerland in support of students' climate strikes around the world. In New Zealand, more than 1,500 academics have released a similar statement. Also in Poland, more than 600 academics supported climate strikes. Several universities and several faculties in my country, in Poland, have taken decisive actions in response to the climate and environmental crisis. Climate emergency was announced at several universities in Poland. Teams for climate crisis were appointed. Responsible persons for the climate crisis were appointed at some universities, only on several universities, but we started this process. It is very important to continue this with the participation of the increasing number of scientists. It is more important than ever that we speak out based on evidence. It is time to go beyond just research and publishing and to go directly to the citizens and policymakers. Dear colleagues, each of us must accept total responsibility for the Earth's survival. We are the curators of life on Earth, standing at the crossroads of time. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.